News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Lolo area shooting victims identified. Good morning, everyone. This is Montana Morning. It is Thursday, January the 12th, 2017. Right now, the sky's cloudy. We have 13 degrees in Missoula. Roads around the area still mostly snow-covered, snow-packed, and icy. We had just a trace of light snow on the ground this morning, but nothing really to get alarmed about. Our newscast this morning, sponsored by Dig It Excavating. They bring 30 years of excellence to every job. For all your excavation needs, call 214-4292. Our top story once again this morning, Missoula County Sheriff and Coroner T.J. McDermott has released the names of the individuals who were shot to death near Lolo. Here's spokesperson Brenda Bassett.
The sheriff and coroner T.J. McDermott released the names of the two individuals that died after Monday night shooting. The first individual, Bradley Eastover, was 51 years old, and Tanya Gillum, 43. They both died of gunshot wounds that they sustained at the scene.
The individual, who has been questioned several times by sheriff's detectives, related his version of the shooting incident, and the crime scene specialists from the sheriff's office have been working to determine the facts of what occurred Monday afternoon. This individual has not been arrested.
We have no reason to believe that there's any danger to the public, so we really want to emphasize that, and we're working closely with the county attorney's office and the Montana Medical Examiner's office and the Montana State Crime Lab to get this investigation finished up.
As long as no charges have been filed, the name of the other man involved in the shooting will not be released. A 31-year-old Billings man with a long history of violence against women has been sentenced to 40 years in prison. Todd Michael Johnson was charged with beating and hospitalizing 4 women in 5 attacks over a 6-month period in 2014. Johnson was convicted in 2 cases. Prosecutors moved to dismiss the other 3 while allowing the women to testify at Johnson's sentencing. The Billings Gazette reports District Judge Gregory Todd sentenced Johnston after his defense attorney argued that 40 years was a long time for someone who had not killed anyone. Court records said a woman Johnson was convicted of assaulting in August of 2014, suffered a broken nose, broken ribs, a cracked jaw, a collapsed lung, and had a boot print-shaped bruise on her face. She'd been left on the ground outside of Billings' emergency room. While the national media covers the heated confirmation battles over Donald Trump's cabinet picks in Washington, there's a fight going on here in Montana over a confirmation process that may not occur. The issue surrounds the office of the Commissioner of Political Practices, currently held by Democrat Commissioner Jonathan Modell. In a 7-4 vote yesterday, the Senate Judiciary Committee passed a resolution by Senator Nell Swandall to force a confirmation hearing for Modell's position. Swandall explains.
There was a lawsuit filed trying to extend the term of the current commissioner, Mr. Modell, from January 1st, 2017 to June 10th, 2019, which is totally in contravention of the governor's appointment letter and, of course, the Senate's confirmation, which occurred by a bipartisan manner 2 years ago.
Swandall argues that decisions made by Modell since January 1st can be challenged by law and that the extension of Modell's term runs contrary to the Montana Constitution.
It's an attempt to contravene the constitutional authority the Senate has to confirm a new Commissioner of Political Practice during the current legislative session. The Attorney General actually filed a motion to intervene in this case. They take the same position that we're taking this resolution, that any act by the lower court trying to extend Mr. Modell's position beyond January 1st, 2017 is illegal.
Swandall says he's disappointed that the resolution passed on a partisan basis and that all legislative members should want the body to retain the constitutionally apportioned power of confirmation. All 4 votes against the resolution were from Democrats. A Montana nonprofit is stepping in to help after the state's STEM scholarship program said it didn't have enough money to fund students' spring 2017 scholarship awards. The Independent Record reports Reach Higher Montana is providing grants to 301 students. The grant program will allocate $232,000 as a one-time payment. The scholarship program was created by the 2015 legislature as an incentive for high school students to get degrees in post-secondary fields related to science, technology, engineering, math, and healthcare. Funding for the program was to come from Montana lottery proceeds, but state education officials announced that the lottery didn't generate enough revenue to pay for those scholarships. Well, the effort to repeal Obamacare has already begun in the U.S. Senate. Montana Junior Senator Steve Daines comments.
Repealing and replacing this disastrous law is one of the top jobs that citizens elected us to get done. And in many ways, it's why Donald J. Trump will be sworn in next week as the 45th president of the United States.
Danes outlined the many lies told to Montanans about Obamacare.
Montanans were promised that with this bill you could keep the health plans that you liked. That was wrong, and millions of Americans lost their plans. Montanans were assured that coverage under Obamacare would be affordable. For millions of Americans, for thousands of Montanans, nothing could be further from the truth. Montanans were guaranteed that Obamacare would lower health care costs. We've witnessed premiums skyrocket since Obamacare's implementation.
And watchdog groups and government officials are criticizing a proposal to require Montana political donors to disclose less information. Kalispell Republican Senator Keith Regier's bill would bar donors from disclosing their occupation and employer. Regier said in a hearing yesterday the disclosure requirements are cumbersome, and he suspects many donors give fraudulent responses. Regier offered no proof of any fraud. A man from Roseville, Michigan, was recently given a $128 ticket for leaving his vehicle unattended as he warmed it up in his own driveway. The obscure law was a surprise to many, and the ensuing lawsuits of folks all across the country wondering if similar laws exist in other states. Well, according to Missoula Police Public Information Officer Travis Welsh, there are a few places in Montana where warming up a vehicle unattended could result in a ticket.
We have a state law governing unattended motor vehicles, and it states, no person driving or in charge of a motor vehicle shall permit it to stand unattended without first stopping the engine and effectively setting the brake thereon, and when standing upon any grade, turning the front wheels to the curb or side of the highway in such a manner as to prevent the vehicle from rolling onto the roadway. That governs an unattended motor vehicle on a way of the state, or a street, as it were.
The Missoula ordinance allows unattended licensed delivery vehicles to remain running, but there's no special allowance for other vehicles on public streets, even if they are adjacent to a home.
You can warm up your vehicle on private property, in your garage, in your driveway, in a private parking lot. You can't warm up your vehicle, per this statute, on the city street.
Advocates for laws against allowing unattended vehicles to remain running say such vehicles create a public safety hazard and could encourage car theft. Opponents argue such laws infringe on individual freedoms. News Talk time now, 6:12.
Newstalk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
A chilly start with some cloud cover in the Missoula area, but expect to see some sunshine today with a high only of around 15 degrees. Expect temperatures below zero in parts of the valley tonight. I'm meteorologist Matt Gray for the NBC Monitoring.